What's going on, everybody? This is David. Welcome back to the channel. As always, man, do me a favor, like, share, subscribe. I really appreciate it. I appreciate you all for tuning in and just hanging out. And on today's video, I want to talk about a topic, right? It's kind of touchy. It's a little touchy, a little sensitive. A lot of people don't like to talk about it, or they already have their own opinions about it. But this video we're gonna touch a little bit on high yield dividends. Yes, high yield dividends, specifically yield max ETFs. I'm not going to go too deep into it, but there are two particular symbols, ticker symbols I want to look at. MSTY and PLTY. These are the yield maxes that follow MicroStrategy and Palantir. So before we get into that, for me, my personal thing about dividends, I talk about dividends a lot because I do have a goal one day to retire and live off my dividends, right? And some people, that's not their goal when investing. They don't believe in dividend stocks, or they just like ETFs, whatever the case may be. Well, guess what? A lot of ETFs do pay dividends. And, you hear about the VOOs and the VTIs, the SCHDs, ETFs that do pay dividends. However, is that enough for you to live off your dividends? Or is that enough for you to do anything with your dividends that you're making? Are you generating enough dividend income each month to really make a dent in what you want to do with your investing strategy? So for me, I do okay with my dividend investing. I reinvest a lot of my dividends, and I'm starting to see the effects of having dividend income and what it can do for your portfolio, as well as some of your personal needs that you may have, that you may want to use the funds for. So for me, I'm a huge fan of dividend investing. So and I do have the SCHDs, I do have the VOs, I do have the VTIs, I do have those positions. However, outside of SCHD, I really don't have a lot of, enough shares to really make a dent into this whole dividend investing strategy here, or goals. So hold on one second. I want to throw on a little here. Yeah. So for me, I dibble and dabble into some high yield dividends, right? And I have my own strategy of how I do it. Remember, I'm not a financial advisor. Do your own research. I'm not making a suggestion for you to buy or sell anything. This is just my specific opinion, and I appreciate you guys' feedback if you leave it in the chat. But I do want to take a look at some high yield dividends, right? I do want to look at MSTY and PLTY. But before we do that, let's look over or go to the Yield Max website, and let's just see what this whole Yield Max thing is all about. So bear with me here. We're going to jump right over here, and let's just see for ourselves what's going on here. And boom, this is the Yield Max ETFs website that you can go and check out for yourself. But here, what is a Yield Max ETF? And as you see here, it says each Yield Max ETF is registered with the Securities and Exchange Commission, the SEC, under the 1940 Act as an open-end investment company, open-end or open-end fund that is authorized to trade on the NYSE Arkansas Stock Exchange. As an investment strategy, a Yield Max ETF is subject to the regulatory requirements of the federal securities laws and oversight by a board of directors. Please visit and review the investor bulletin on ETFs at the www.investor.gov for more information on ETFs. But let's take a look at the ETFs that Yield Max actually offers here. And we're just going to click on the our ETFs, and here we go. So you see, it's quite a few. TSLY, you have the OR or OARK, APLY, MVDY, AMZY, FBY, GOY, and you just go all the way down. There's quite a few ETFs, yield max ETFs that they offer. And I'm telling you, I do follow a lot of people accounts and who are heavily invested in these yield max, and they do make quite a bit of dividend income each month. And I mean, it's just a fact. You know what I mean? It's just a fact. And the two we want to focus on here, MSTY. Let's see what they have here. We can find it. The yield max MSTR option income strategy. Give me 1 second here. What are we going here? But anyway, yeah, sorry about that. But yeah, MSTY, as you see, what does this consist of? Okay, it's the distribution rate, 30-day ST yield, expense ratio. And you see the numbers. So go back down here. Did I pass it up? I think I did. There we go. So these are the numbers for MSTY, and then we have PLTY. And man, it's just a lot of yield max positions that are offered, man. Symbols here. This is another one, PLTY, which is the yield max PLTR option income strategy ETF. And you can go read the perspectives for each one. But for me, I just opened a position in PLTY, and I do have MSTY. I think I have GOOY, which is the Google yield max, and I have the AMZY, which is the Amazon yield max. And they, I'm gonna be honest, they do quite well for me in regards to my dividend income, right? So I just wanted to, put this out here. You can go check them out on your, when you get some free time, you can go to the website and check it out here. But I want to jump right over to Yahoo Finance, and we can just look at each one individually here. Because what's the knock, right? Yeah, it pays a dividend, but what about the share price? And that is a valid point. As we're going to see here, we're going to look at MSTY first. But I've been on both ends, right? Just like with any stock, you want to get into these positions at a good price. When it's beat down, that's probably when you want to look to invest in it and build up your position if that's the strategy you want to take, right? You see MSTY trading at $21.52. It was down on Friday 6.76%. And just going here, the last 5 days, down 5.99%. Over the last month, down 4.90%. Over the last 6 months, down 39.97%. And year to date, down 18.21%. So as you can see, MSTY, as far as the share price, has been down, right? And and you can compare that to how MicroStrategy has done over that last, over that same time frame. Now, with that being said, we know that the market is, going through some rough times, and some stocks are hit harder than others. Let's just be honest about it. But MSTY is taking a hit this year. Let's take a look at some of the income payouts, right? And this is a monthly paying ETF. And earlier this month, it had paid out $2.37 dividend for the month of May. So for every share you had, that's equal to $2.37 that you receive in dividend income. So that was a nice payout for this month. As you can see, up from the $1.33 last month, the $1.37 back in March. It was at $2.02 back in February, $2.27 back in January. So pretty solid. And you see $3, we can go on, and so forth. Pretty solid. And even one time, $4 for a dividend per share. It's pretty crazy, right? Each month. And like I said, I see all the time where, some of these guys have thousands of shares of MSTY or PLTY. They make a killing each month. However, are you willing to risk that potential loss in share price for a high dividend, right? But the dividend income can allow you to do some other things. So it's kind of one of those things that you have to see both sides of. I don't totally knock it, but I also know if I'm going to invest in one of these particular funds that I have to balance my portfolio so that the share price, the potential decrease in share price doesn't affect my portfolio overall that much, right? And like I said, most importantly is the entry price where you do enter into these positions. So let's just say when Google's beat down or Amazon's beat down or MicroStrategy's beat down, that may be a time to look into see, hey, not only do I want to look into the stock, but let me take a look at some of these ETFs that potentially could pay a high dividend. So, and just build up from there, because I'm telling you, although I'm down on my MSTY position, my AMZY position, which is the yield max that follows Amazon, man, I'm up big time, right, on one of my positions. I'm talking about big time because I got in at a good price. And not only that, it pays a nice dividend every month. So let's take a look at PLTY, because this is going to blow you away of what this PLTY paid last month. And before we get into that, you see here last trade at $62.04 over the last 5 days. What's going on here? Hold on. This website, it's Yahoo Finance, man. Me jumping all over the place. Hold on. Over the last week, you see PLTY is down 13%. Over the last month, though, only down 2%. Over the last 6 months, down 4%. Year to date, down 13%. PLTY, the share price. But let's go here. Let's take a look at the dividend. This is gonna be crazy, right? Last month, or this month, PLTY paid $7.04 a share for its dividend payout. Crazy. And we've seen that Palantir has kind of recovered on its price, or it's been moving up lately. And that's what happens. You see a huge payout on the Yield Max ETF. Like I said, go to the website if you want to learn more and get a better understanding for yourself on how these Yield Max ETFs work. But that's crazy to have a $7.04 payout per share. And this is a monthly paying ETF. Let's see what it did last month. $4.65 a share. Before then, $5.32 a share. $5.93 a share. $2.98. That was kind of disappointing compared to what these other payouts were. $3.58, $3.34. But man, it's crazy to have a $7.04 payout. And like I said, man, you just have to have an understanding of how these ETFs work. But for those people who go all in on dividend income, you have quite a few shares of a position like PLTY, and then you get hit with a $7.04 dividend payout. That's crazy. But once again, see the knock here, right? Look at the price. This is one of the things you have to watch with these Yield Max ETFs, right? Once you get paid out, you're going to see that effect in the share price, right? So let's just say you got in after, which is kind of sucks, right? Because you didn't get this dividend payout, but you You get in after once you see the dip in the price, and then you ride it up next month, or you load up over the next month, and then you get a big payout, for June. And some I've seen it, man. Some of these, these experts, these big wigs, they get in and out. They know when to get in, they know when to get out, and they're reaping those high dividends each month from these type of positions. So it's kind of like you got to know how to play the game. I don't really play it like that. I do hold, even through the price drops. I look to reinvest those dividends right now. Some of them I reinvest, some of them I use to buy other positions because that's just the flexibility that I have with some of these positions. Some of them, like I said, I reinvest. Some of them I use to build up my other. I use some of my yield max positions to build up my JEPQ positions, or my SPY, or my BRKB. And that's just, if I don't have the money allocated to pay for my regular income, I use my dividend income to still invest in my positions. So that's the importance of dividend income for me. And a couple of years from now, I hope to be able to retire and just live strictly off my dividends. But I do want to bring that, show you guys that these high yield dividends can be a blessing and a curse, right? If you know how to play it the right way. No disrespect to the VOO, the VTIs, the SCHDs, because I have those positions, and I think everybody should have those positions in their portfolio one way or another. But I also believe that you should keep these other positions in mind and allow it to be an option just in case that you're looking to increase your dividends, right? So, but I have other dividend positions that not high yield. So I believe in playing both sides of the fence. So I believe in the safe side. I believe in some risk as well. So some of my stock positions are risky. You know what I mean? I learned the hard way in 2020 or 2022? I'm sorry, 2022. Was it 2022 or 2023? I think it was 2022 when the NASDAQ got hit hard, and my Amazon got hit hard, my Google got, my Apple, all that got hit hard, man, because those are great companies. Still was a high risk, when tech goes down like that. But I'm not concerned about those three companies. Amazon, Google, Apple. I'll take those hits and I'll ride it back up. So, but yeah, this is my thought, man. These high yields, they look like they're here to stay. So, are you willing to take that risk for the potential of dividend income, right? Dividend income that could possibly change some things in your life, right? So, do you want to take it the long way? Go with the safe dividend routes and just build those up over years, maybe 5, 10, 15 years? Or do you want to look at some of the high yield dividend and maybe like in the next year, 2 years, depending on how you approach it, you can start really seeing some changes in your lifestyle with some of this dividend income. So I just wanted to throw that out there. I'm not saying one way or the other. I am saying that I do participate in some of the high yield dividend incomes along with some of the safe dividend income. And I kind of mix them both depending on how, the portfolio is shaped up, because, I'm not going to go all in on high yield dividends. That's just not going to go that way. But at the same time, I do want to be in the game. So you got to be in the game to win the game. So that's just my opinion. Let me know what you guys think. Remember to like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell. I really appreciate it. Leave me some feedback in the comments. Yay or nay on high yield dividend income. It's something that you're thinking about. Just let me know what you think, man. Everybody has an opinion, so I don't mind if you agree or disagree. It's your opinion. So let me know what you guys think. But until next time, I will talk to you guys later.